Okay, it's summertime, so why not make a video on sunscreen? So, the first question is, what is sunscreen? So, sunscreen is a lotion that protects the skin from UV rays. It keeps us from burning, itching, all that stuff. A lot of people have had sunburn before, and it's not fun, and sunscreen protects from that. So, the next question is, what is in sunscreen? So, there's a bunch of different things in sunscreen. In doing my research, I didn't want to list all of them, so I found that zinc oxide and titanium dioxide seem to be pretty effective. It's not in every sunscreen, but I think it's in most from what I read. Now, the job of sunscreen is to absorb what's called UV light, ultraviolet light, specifically UVA and UVB. There's different types of UV light. And I'll go into what UVA and UVB is, but essentially sunscreen protects your skin from the burning, the itching, the irritation. It also protects your skin from wrinkling and aging. If you didn't know that, now you do. So sunscreen is a really interesting compound that's used all over the world, especially down here. I'm in Florida, where it's very, very hot right now. And without sunscreen, a lot of people would burn and not go outside. But thankfully, it's used enough to where people can go outside, enjoy their time on the beach and things like that without burning up. So before I get into what UVA and UVB is, I want to talk about light, specifically the visible light spectrum, because I think in order to understand some of this stuff, you have to understand a little bit about how light works. So UV rays are in this part of the visible light spectrum. Sorry. Now, light itself is interesting. Light is composed of what are called photons. Now, these photons are particles, but also at the same time, they are waves. It's a quantum mechanics thing. It's complicated. I don't want to explain it right now. And color is what basically they're wavelengths of light that are visible to the human eye. So first of all, what is a wave? Okay. So a wave is a disturbance traveling through a medium from one location to another. To put it simply, think about the ocean. Okay, we've all at least seen the ocean if we haven't been there. We have waves that move. They move up and they crash down. They move up and they crash down. Those are waves, okay? And the medium that these waves travel through is water. Light is similar. In the waveform, light is a disturbance. In this case, it is electromagnetic radiation. And this electromagnetic radiation travels through the medium, which is air, or actually not just air, but the space that we exist in. Because I say that because there's no air in space, and light still travels through it. But it travels through the medium, and these waves go up and down. Now, color is different wavelengths. So a wavelength is literally the distance between one top of a wave to the other top of a wave, right? Think about the ocean, okay? And colors are different wavelengths. So some wavelengths are shorter, right? Some distances are shorter between the waves, and some are a lot longer. And this produces different colors to the human eye. Okay, so you get the blues and purples that are on the shorter wavelengths, and the oranges, reds that are on the longer wavelengths. So every single color you see is just light at a different wavelength. Okay, if that makes sense. And UV is right here in the visible light spectrum. So let's talk about UV rays. So UVA and UVB are what you don't want getting into your skin when you're out in the sun, which is what sunscreen is for. So UVA has a longer wavelength. And to make it a little easy to understand, I think aging, because UVA, when it gets into your skin, it causes wrinkling and aging. UVB has a shorter wavelength, and it doesn't get deeper into your skin. UVA gets deep into your skin. UVB doesn't. It only gets to the couple top layers, and that causes burning, redness, itching. So I think UVB is burning. Okay, so sunscreen protects against wrinkling, aging, and then also redness, burning, itching. And this, in the latter half, is what most of us are familiar with. Those of us who have, less melanin, more lighter skin, you might burn. Okay, if you're in the sun too long, either you don't put on enough sunscreen, it's been too long since you put on sunscreen, you just wanted to go crazy and not put on sunscreen. Okay, so those are the types of UV rays that sunscreen protects against. So what is SPF? We've all heard about SPF, but what is it? SPF is what's called the sun protection factor. So it's the amount of time it takes for your skin to burn in comparison to a control, which is no sunscreen. Okay, that's how they do it in the research studies. So SPF 30 and SPF 50, they operate very similarly. SPF is the same type of story. It's just different amounts of protection. SPF 30 takes 30 times longer for skin to burn. SPF 50 takes 50 times longer. And then, SPF 30, a 30th of the UV gets through, while SPF 50, 1/50th of UV gets through. Now, I think the really interesting piece is the difference between the two. SPF 30 only lets 3.3% of UV rays in, while SPF 50 only lets 2%. And when it's all said and done, there's only maybe a little bit more than a 1% difference between the two, which means that SPF 50 is not significantly more protective than SPF 30. It really depends on how you apply the sunscreen, because you want to apply a thick layer of sunscreen every couple of hours, and you can't just apply it once and be done, because you want your skin to be constantly protected. So here I have an example of just some bottles of a popular sunscreen, and the next time you pick up a bottle, you'll now understand what it all means. So we say it's SPF 30 right here. It is 4-in-1 performance. I don't know, it does a bunch of stuff. But anyway, the most important thing for here is it stops up to 97% of UV rays, as in it's 3.3%. It lets in 3.3% of UV rays. Okay. And this one is SPF 50, right? It lets in only 2% of UV rays, so it stops 98% of them. Okay. And like I said, they do the same thing. There's not much of a difference. Just because the number's bigger doesn't mean you get a crazy amount of protection. It really depends on how you apply it and how often you apply it. So, in summary, sunscreen is a protective lotion against UV rays, UVA and UVB. Zinc oxide and titanium dioxide absorb UVA and UVB like a sponge. UVA is, you can think of aging, wrinkles. UVB causes burning, redness, and itching. SPF 30 allows 3% of UV rays, and SPF 50 only allows 2% of UV rays. So that's it for the video. Remember, if you're going to go outside in this heat, make sure you put on sunscreen so your skin doesn't burn. It doesn't matter how dark your skin is, how light your skin is. Sunscreen is good. Protects against skin cancer, protects against your skin from wrinkling and a bunch of different things, because having sunburn is not fun. So thank you everyone for listening, for subscribing. Thanks to the new subscribers. I don't have many, but I appreciate you. I'm going to keep coming with videos. I know it's been a little while since I posted. I've been a little busy, but I am excited for the new content I have coming your way. I'm going to do a couple cool videos on the immune system and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm very excited. And keep listening, keep watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Send to your friends who like random stuff, facts about science. So like I said, thanks, and I will see you again with the next video.